Hello everyone, welcome to Tiny Grey Miniatures. My name is Rachel and today I'm going to be attempting for the first time a 1/48 scale cottage, which is a kit that I bought at the Miniaturist show. This is a Purbeck cottage by Petite properties. I've decided, all I've done so far is open the packet and have a look at what's inside. Lots of different bits, but it seems fairly straightforward. She says. Anyway, I'm going to be filming the whole thing, so I'm hoping you enjoy everything I do, warts and all. I'll leave in all the mistakes as usual. So, I'm going to be designing some floorboards. I've decided to draw the floorboards on a sheet and then cut out and stick on. I may do the same with the walls as well, but I want to do the inside because it's so tiny. I'm thinking of doing the inside panels first before I assemble it, but it'll all become apparent and I will show you. So see you in a bit. So firstly, all the pieces come like this. This is I'm not sure, base, yes, the base. The base and the first floor floor. That's the back. I'm guessing the it all fits in there. So it's a little bag of windows and doors and all sorts of things, and fascia boards for the porch. Right, so I decided to make it a bit smaller. It doesn't need to be a whole A4 size. Right, I've done the lines. I've just started to put in some of the segmenty bits. So I'm just mixing up some brown paint. I'm actually using gouache paint. It is an opaque paint, but if you get it thin enough, you can use it as a bit like a watercolor wash. And I have these paints that I got on Amazon. Himmy. And look at the colours. So that's the first layer done. Literally just took me a minute. I'm going to let that dry and then I shall go over with another layer. So I'm just using an old jar lid to put my paint in. But this is the Deco Art. This is acrylic I'm going to be using for the inside of the walls. Okay, well, I've been pretty much all afternoon sorting out my new printer, my new colour printer, and I'm really pleased with it. It took me ages to set it up because all the instructions were in Scandinavian, which I don't speak. So anyway, I've got it's all done and the floorboards were scanned in and I've printed them out from the PDF, and I'm quite happy with that. It's a little bit darker than the original, but that's okay. Right, I've got it sorted in my head. So I'm either going to go for this dark colour, darker like pinky red, or the bright red, and I think I'm just going to be brave and go bold. So I think I'm just going to go for the red. But I'm only having the red on the outside. So here goes. Using my pens because it's nice and easy. Okay, so I've painted all these red and the little chair, and I decided in the end I was going to do all the windows red inside and out just to make it simpler and add some continuity. So I'm going to cut round the floorboard sheet is now dry first and then cut round after it's dry. Really nice neat edge. Right, I'm going to use my Gorilla super glue for this because it's nice and quick. Just try not to get it stuck to my fingers like I normally do. So according to the instructions, I need to fix the back onto the bottom base piece, and then the sides go on. Be very careful. Oh, this is exciting. It's looking like a house now. I'm going to put the second floor in now. So there's a slot at the back, and the floor itself has a little piece that just slots in the back, and then these two pieces just go into the slots in the front. So it's nice and... So I'm just going to give a coat of paint to the downstairs ceiling and also the edges. So that's the edges done too. Texture on the floorboards then. So I'm going to do that to both floors. So that's nice and dry. So now I'm going to stick the dividers in, the room dividers. Not sure what glue to use. I think I'll use the super glue again. So it's got to be a bit of a tight squeeze, the bottom one, so I'll see how it goes. Oh, you do not want to get super glue on your fingers. It's getting a lot quickly. Right, as I suspected, that's taken a lot of the glue off, but it's okay. Hoping there's enough on to take that off. Now, according to the instructions, the front of the roof, this piece that forms the section that keeps the roof on, the lip, I guess, goes on top. Oh, there's my dog. She's just seen a cat. So now we know where the removable section of roof is going. We can fix the back on. I think this is the easiest way to do it, otherwise you're kind of guessing. Let's hold that down. Okay, take that off now. I'm hoping that's straight. Looks pretty straight, that's fine. So I'm just holding this in place. Right, so it says carefully stick the door frame onto the front of the door. Okay, which I did carefully. When dry, stick the completed door into position onto the rear or part K as shown in picture 10. So K is this section here. Try not to lose these window bits. So it goes on the inside, which is this side, and then that goes onto there, I presume, so that that peeps through. Oh, lovely. Okay. Right, before I do that, I am going to make sure I've got these sections painted properly in the windows and doors. Okay, I hope you can see there's the blue I've done, which is going to match up with the lovely colourful front of the house. It's going to look very like the small Irish towns with their beautiful coloured streets and their coloured houses. This is my inspiration. So I'm going to stick the door in. So it needs to go on the inside of the house, which is the white side for me. Just putting a little bit of glue around the edge of the door frame. And then hopefully this little cutie will sit snugly inside. Yes, it does. That's wonderful. Oh, that's so cute. Look at that. Oh, it's so sweet. I love it. I absolutely love this little kit. Okay, so I'm going to do the same with the windows now. I've got it. What you do is you put the acetate. You have to line up the windows exactly, obviously. So the acetate gets sandwiched between the interior section and the exterior section, making sure that you've got those the right way round, because there's a clear front and a back. There's more detail on the front sections. The acetate goes in the middle, it gets stuck together, and it gets inserted into the window slots in the house. So pretty straightforward. So using my Beacon 3-in-1 glue, so now we're going to stick the windows in. And I'm remembering that the white section is the inside of my building. It's actually quite useful to have painted one side of it because it's apparent, although I did nearly mess up and stick them on the outside. But there we go. So a little bit of PVA around the frame so they stick into the inside, and there's like a lip section, and that goes through into the window frame. Let's get them the right way up as well. Well, there's a lot to think about. There's an up and a down. So there's a slightly thicker window ledge on the bottom. I'm pretty sure it's the bottom. I'm just double checking. Yes, it is, because it has to have the window frame. There's like a little window sill that goes on the outside, so the bottom edge of the window is the slightly bigger section. Hope that makes sense. Porchway, it says, working on the front porch, stick part L times 2 on top of each other. So this is L, and these get stuck together apparently, and then I have to leave them to dry. Right, on the instructions it says B's top tips, and it says at the bottom, always read the instructions from start to finish before beginning the construction of a kit. Not like me and read it in bits all the way through. So yes, please read all the instructions before you start. It's very sensible. Don't wing it like I do. This is not a tutorial, as you can guess. So porch is now, it's not completely dry, but it's dry enough. Sticking that to the front of the building. I am checking the picture here, so it does show you porch is level with the base of the front of the house. I want that nice and straight. I think probably the easiest way is to press it onto a flat surface standing up. There we go. And then I'm going to put the fascia board on. So that gives a lovely detail at the front there. But if I do that and then I can't paint it, can I? Oh, you see? No, I think I'm going to have to leave that and paint it first, because painting it after that's on is going to be a nightmare, isn't it? I'm going to have to go all around those. Okay, I've decided to leave those. I am though going to put the little window sills in, because I can easily paint under those. So yes, a lot of thinking and planning. I think once you've done one, it's going to be easier then to do another one, because you get into a routine of how you do it, I guess, and the order of things. I mean, the instructions are very clear and very good, but if you've planned to do something a bit different with the rendering. Okay, there we go. Final little window sill in. So decided, after all that toing and froing, decided to put the fascia board in after I've painted it, because that's really more sensible. There we go, looking good though. So I'm going to leave all that to dry. I now have to wait for the render to arrive, the polyfiller basically, from Amazon, so I shall be doing this another time. And another day has dawned. It's a lovely bright Saturday morning now. It's nice and sunny, a little bit chill, but the polyfiller, the ready mixed lightweight filler, is here. I've never used this on a doll's house before. I've only ever used it on the wall. Oh, look. There we go, nice and splodgy. It's a bit moussey. It's very light. So I'm hoping it's going to work well as rendering. I've seen other people do this. Rich Miniatures. I don't know if you watch his channel. He does some wonderful stuff. I love Rich. He's used it on a doll's house, on a Italian style doll's house, and it looked marvellous. So strangely enough, I'd already seen this on Amazon, and then I watched his channel and he was using it too, so I thought, yeah, why not, I'm gonna have a go. So I'm hoping to be able to do all around the house. I've just tried out the blue colour here. That's the kind of colour I want on the walls, and I'm thinking I might try it on the roof and see if I can get a like a slate tile effect. So we'll see how it goes. Not done it before, it's very experimental. Just going to use a painting palette knife. It's a fairly small one. I've got a bigger one here. There's some bigger areas. So I'm just going to whack it on. This is the thing. Oh, I'm going to try an easier surface just to start off with, just to get the hang of it. Going on okay. Well, it sticks really well. Also, it'll fill up all these little gaps, so that's great. I am going to leave some little bits exposed, as if there's some old stonework underneath showing through. Okay, so I've got a very thin layer all around the house and the front. Just I've got a bit on the back of the windows that doesn't need to be there, so I'm just gonna clean all that off now, clean up the edges around the windows, I've left a little area here because I'm going to paint a little bit of stonework, which should match up with this corner here, so as if the rendering has kind of fallen off with age. I'm going to clean it up and then I'm going to tackle the roof, and there's also a tiny roof for the porch. I am a little bit nervous about doing this because it's going to have to be very small tiles and I'm not sure how I'm going to handle it. So anyway, we shall see. I did start putting on a layer of the filler on the roof to do the tiles, and I wasn't happy with it. It was drying too quickly to actually get the small marks. So what I've decided to do is something I wanted to do anyway for the inside and the chimney, is to draw some stonework and also some tiling, and do it in gouache paint and then print it, and then I can put it on my Etsy shop, and then it's ready for everybody to use as well. So hopefully if this goes okay, that's where we're going. So I'm just doing this by eye with no ruler because I don't want straight line. So I've got the stone wall drawn and printed out, and the rooftop slates drawn, scanned in and printed out. So I'm going to use this printout sheet rather than my original copy, because I want to test out how this fares so that I can put it on the shop for you. So this process is similar to the floor and the floorboards. I did the designs exactly the same as I did with the floorboards, with the same paints and the pens, and then scanning it in. I'm just gluing that, so I'm just going to cut this with a scalpel. I'm just going to cut this in half for now. So I'm just going to go across here just to make it more manageable size. I think I'm going to need 2 sheets of this. Do another copy. So I just want to show you quickly. Actually, it's probably easier that way around. So just sticking that on. Line that up. See, if I'd have been sensible, I'd have done this before I did all the assembly as well. But, you know, you learn as you go. Try not to get creases in there. Smooth that out. So smooth the whole thing out. I'm going to need to make a bit of a slit there. Yeah, wishing I hadn't put the chimney on yet. Should have done this first. It would have been much easier to stick the chimney on after. Another lesson learnt there. Really windy day today. It's bright and sunny, but it's really windy. The crows have been out there going mad, been really noisy. So I've added some of the stone walling in the corners, like a bit of the rendering's coming off. I'm going to be painting the rendering, remember, so it's not going to look quite this scrappy. I've got that, and I've also got where this joins the house on the corner, so it looks like the rendering has come off around the corner as well. So I'm going to let it all dry thoroughly, and then I'm going to just give it a light sanding and then give it a coat of paint. I need to get the other part of the roof done as well, and then trim this down. Okay, nearly there, nearly ready to paint the building. I've managed to get got the roof with the paper tiles on that are hand drawn. I've also done the chimney in some stonework. I need to sort this patch out down here, but got something else to go on top, and the actual chimney thing. The front's looking like this at the moment with the pieces of stone. And what else did I want to show? Oh, I've just cut out from cardboard a chimney shape. This kind of fits in here, so I'm going to turn this into like an ingle nook fireplace at the bottom, and then I've got a more Victorian looking fireplace to go upstairs in the bedroom, so that'll line up. So that's basically just cardboard covered with the sheet of the stone walling. I've got a tiny fireplace somewhere. Here we go. You can see that in the bag, which I'm going to use for upstairs, and then I'm going to have a larger fireplace, kind of open ingle nook fireplace for downstairs. This is the plan anyway. I've also tiled the little roof that goes over the porch. So what I'm going to do now is just using an emery board, because it's nice and small and I can get it into small pieces, is file down, just smoothing out this rendering a little bit. I don't want it quite so lumpy on the whole building, and then I'm going to do a coat of paint. So I'm just going to start sanding it down for now. Okay, so I've sanded all this, it's a lot smoother, and I've given it a good dust down, a clean down. We don't want a dusty surface. This was a little bit more tricky around the windows. It's a little bit of, but it's less lumpy. So now I'm going to paint it a lovely blue colour. I'm going to try and get similar to the blue I started on here, but that was an acrylic pen, and I want to actually mix some paint. So I want a kind of a cheery, summery light blue, starting with an ultramarine. Yeah, this is acrylic. I'm going to make sure I make enough, so because I'm never going to get the exact colour again. So I've got a bigger pot. Should be enough, I think. And then I'm going to put a little bit of white in. I'm just kind of doing this by eye. It doesn't matter if it's not exact, as long as I like the colour. It's fine. That's actually a lovely colour. I'll just do it a little bit warmer, I think, although I do quite like that cool blue. It is quite a cool blue, but it is rather lovely, I have to say. Now, do I want a warmer blue, or do I want to go with this cool blue? I'm going to go with this, because it's lush and it's nice and easy. Okay. Right, a little bit of water. So I'm just basically going to coat the whole thing in this blue colour for now. So it's pretty much done. I'm just going to go around little bits with a fine. I just want to add some darker shadowy areas under the sills. So I've got a dark grey blue pen, and I'm just adding it to give a little bit of depth, because with miniatures you don't get a natural shadowing like you would in a full-size building. So if you need depth, it's not too accentuated, it's just I'm just giving a light colour, a dark colour, but a light dark colour, if you know what I mean. I mean, not heavy. So I'm just going in where there would be kind of natural weathering and shadow. Try not to ruin my brush. Just adding in a little bit of warmth to some of the stonework, so I'm just adding in, just here and there, some light warmer tones, browny, more sort of lime scaly type rock in there. Oh, just need a warmer grey. Actually, there's a brown here. Not sure how that's going to fare. Might be a bit dark. We'll see. That's quite nice. I've just used a little bit of white paint mixed with just some of the cooler browny colours. It's very, very, very faint, but I've just done a little bit of a wash just to stop the colours being too sharp, too bright, so it looks more. I'm just putting a white wash over the stonework on the chimney because I don't want that quite so liney. That's not a word, I know, but you know what I mean. So basically that's a good way of just softening something. If you've used a printout sheet, especially if it's come out quite dark, you can just go over. I'm going to be probably putting some soot over this anyway, so I'm not too worried. But it's just, if you can see, it has just softened those lines a bit. It's just a very watered down acrylic paint, white paint. Okay, I'm going to put the roof on now, the little roof on. So here he is, the Wittish cottage, witches even, not the Wittish. I think it looks very witchy. Just needs a chimney now, so this, I need to cut this into 2 little bits, and then I'm going to colour it terracotta with one of my pens. Can that go quite a bright colour? Not sure yet. And then I've got these bits to put on top as well. So yeah, just going to be using my pens and then sticking them on. Right, while the chimneys were drying, I've just stuck on a few of the details on the front. And a tiny door handle. I'm not sure what that actually was, that little piece of cut wood, but there were 2, so I've decided they're door handles, and I put one each side. I'm just doing silver furnishings. Okay, so let's stick on the chimney. Well, I'm presuming, I might be presuming wrong, that the bigger piece goes on the actual chimney. Yeah. So the bigger square goes on the bottom. Should I line that up properly? I'm just using super glue for this, Gorilla super glue. It doesn't dry as quickly as some of them, which in some ways is good, and in other ways is a bit annoying because you don't want to be sitting holding something. I actually broke my glasses yesterday. I sat on them, so I even have my glasses held on with super glue today. So the arm fell off. I broke the hinge. So super glue, but I did have to sit and hold the arm on the glasses for about 15 minutes while it's set. I'm always breaking my glasses. Right, I think sensibly it would be good to probably wait for those to set, but I'm just gonna, another been set. These look like I've coloured them and they look like cigarette ends, so I'm hoping they look more like chimneys when they're in. I'm going to call this house the Wonky Chimney, I think. Wonky Chimney Cottage. Okay, there we go. They don't look too bad. They are a little on the wonk. I shall try to straighten them as they dry. See, I've done some kind of sooty effect on the chimney, which has also hidden a little bit of the gap that I had there with no tiles, so that's worked out quite well. I'm just going to put that on there to dry. There he is. He's quite quirky. Pretty pleased with him. I think it'd be lovely to have lots of different colours and a whole village. Yes, I am tempted. I'm very tempted. So here he is, all done. He's colourful. I didn't want a kind of traditional white rendered cottage, so I'm quite happy with the kind of quirky colouring. I wanted something a little bit more unusual. Inside I'm going to do colourful as well. I'm going to do kind of folk style things. I've got some ideas for pictures and furnishings and things I'm going to do, and I'm going to put the fireplace and the chimney thing in next week. So part 2 will be the interior. Just be very careful because I did actually nearly drop this earlier. So I do actually like the illustrated quality of the floorboards and the roof where I've drawn it, so I'm quite liking that look. So I've done the same for a larger house, which I will show you one day when I redo it. I'm thinking of refurbishing something, so yeah, I will show you that. But yeah, I like the drawn effect. I think it looks quite sort of fairy tale and like a book, like the inside of a book, which I quite like, especially for a witch's cottage. That works well. The chimneys, they're okay. They're not too wonky, so I'm going to think of a new name for the cottage, because the chimneys it can't be wonky chimney cottage now because they're not wonky. So I hope you join me next week for the interior. I'm looking forward to doing that. This one's taken me 2 weeks, so that this video is a little bit late out, but thank you so much for sticking with me, and I'll see you next week. Bye.